Hello students, good morning and welcome back to one more session of our classes of organizational behavior, that is human resource management. So in the last class we have discussed about why studying OB is important, what are the benefits out of it, and which are the contributing disciplines through which OB is studied. So I've given you a brief viewpoint of the different disciplines, that is psychology, sociology, social psychology, anthropology, political science and engineering. So in detail, one by one, we will study how these will impact our study of human resource management or organizational behavior. So to start with, first field is psychology. So through psychology, we can study about what are the different motivation theories. How can we motivate employees to work efficiently and effectively? So I told you that people are motivated to do something or not to do something for different reasons. Some people are behind money, they want uh, growth in terms of salary. Some people are crazy about power, superiority, promotion. So there are different motivation theories which help us to know why individuals will say work better or why they are demotivated to work. Also psychology gives us insight of how what is the process of learning. So how do we learn things? Now learning means it can be academic through books, through school. Learning can be through experience. It can be by imitation, by seeing others, by watching others, or it can be by trial and error method, or it may be out of habit. It is called as classical conditioning, operant conditioning. Okay, so psychology helps us to tell how people learn things, and by that we can develop training programs for our employees so that their skill set and will be improved. Then we have to also know the different personality theories. So by studying the personality theories, one can come to know that why a person behaves in a particular way. Okay, somebody is short tempered. Why is it short tempered? It may be because of the family background, or at the young age something has happened. So based on the characteristics, we can if we know the different theories of personality, we can jot down why a person is having a particular character or why he is not having a particular character, and based on that we can know people and make them work or make them the things get done accordingly. Then together with it we have other aspects like as emotions. So emotional stability is very much necessary, because if a person is not emotionally stable, if his personality or his uh, personal life is having some problems, that will be reciprocated on his work, on his job satisfaction, on his you can say efficiency and effectiveness in the job. Okay, so emotions play a very important role. Next is perception. Now perception is what? Perception is what we how we take the things. Okay, grasping the things based on its favorableness or unfavorableness, about right and wrong, based on our past say experience, because somebody has told us. So perception is like our outlook towards the world, towards people, towards environment. So this outlook is very much necessary while dealing with things. So training is a part of say an advanced part of learning, where you are trying to implant new techniques so that your employee is upgraded. Next part of psychology which is useful in HRM is leadership effectiveness. So leadership means the way you try to motivate, try to show a way to your followers. So how effectively that is done, the more effective you as a leader, then you'll have a better say prospects of being promoted, of being a project head or a team head. Next concept is job satisfaction. Now job satisfaction is something which is very much important, so that the organizational goals, its profit, its efficiency can be maintained. Now how can you say a person is satisfied with his jobs? Again, there are different dimensions for it. Some people are satisfied with more salary. Some people say they want better working conditions. Some people say they want more leisure time. So the job satisfaction is different for different people, and to judge it becomes very difficult. Unless you know the psychology of that person, you can't justify how satisfied or unsatisfied that person is. Then next thing is individual decision making. So individual decision making means how quickly or how logically you make decisions. Are you confident to become a leader and make decisions, or you want to be just a follower? Then performance appraisal. So performance appraisal is like your report card in the employment. So the performance appraisal will tell about what you have done in a particular period of time, how effective, how swiftly, how you can say how neatly you have covered the job, so that you can be promoted to the next level. Then is attitude management. Now what is attitude? Attitude is nothing but the response or readiness of behaving in a particular way, either favorably or unfavorably. Means our attitude is the response on the way things happen around us. So if it is favorable for me, I will show a positive attitude. If it is hurting me, I will show a negative attitude. So attitude is our response to external stimulus. How we take the things. Is it beneficial to me? Then I go take it in a positive way. So my attitude becomes very positive. Next is employee selection. So employee selection is also very important, because every now and then we can't keep recruiting people and training them, because it's a costly affair. So once you select, it should be with much diligence and much patience, so that you get the right candidate for the right job. Otherwise there will be frequent job dissatisfaction. There will be hamper of work done. The work will be hampered, and there will be constant attrition, means people may keep leaving the job. So employee selection also plays a very important point while studying organizational behavior. Then based on the employees and the job profile, you have to design a work means what are the roles and responsibilities, what are the additional powers given. All those things should be designed based on the job and the output you need. Then the last thing here which psychology helps us to deal with is work stress. Now you go to any person who is working around, they will say that they are constantly at stress. Now what is stress? Stress means you can say a burden that I have not completed something, or there is a confusion about my job, or there is a deadline because I didn't do it previously. At the end moment I've started doing it, so there is a stress. So stress is an emotional burden because we have not done, or we are late in doing something. So dealing with that also we can take some tips from psychology. Now next field is social psychology. Now social psychology, before that we'll see what is sociology. Sociology is what? Sociology is nothing but dealing with people around. Means we say man is a social being. So we are interacting with people, a group of people. While interacting, we should have a strong communication. Now when I say strong communication, doesn't mean only you should be good in English. So whichever is the language which is used around in that area, you should be confident in that language. Okay, I'm talking about quality language. It may be any language which is used. So good communication doesn't always means a fluent English. Okay, if your English is not that fluent, but usse kaam chalta hai, right? So you can make up with it. The other person is understanding. That is more than enough. So you should have a good communication which is having some modesty, some softness, some love, some respect, that so they all, that sentences should show respect. It shouldn't be with, correct, you can say, grammar or something like that. So that communication should be that which can touch the other person. So sociology tells us how to communicate with people, how to go along with people. Then sociology means, as it is a group of people, then there is a need of a leader, and the concept of power comes in where you are controlling others. Then conflicts. So when there are too many utensils, they will clash around and make some noise. So many people coming around, there will be conflict which may be either positive or negative. Positive conflict means that conflict which is bringing out new ideas, is always helpful for the growth of the organization. On the other hand, when the conflict is because of personal grudge, ego, that is definitely not good. So as a manager, you should know which conflict should be avoided and which conflict should be nurtured. Then intergroup behavior. So when you are now, when you are working in a organization, you can't work alone. You are working in a group. So in a group, what kind of a behavior is appreciated? You can't behave as if you are in your bedroom or in your bathroom, singing loud or doing all nonsense things. So intergroup behavior needs some decency, some friendliness, some getting along. So that is also very much important. Next is formal organization theory. Now, what is organization theory? Formal organization theory means the work culture, work ethics, the hierarchy in the organization, who is reporting to who is the boss, subordinates, their relation, the communication between them, what is the code of conduct of that organization, what is the discipline. All these things should be known so that you are being respected, favored and liked in the organization with a cordial work environment and good say efficiency and job satisfaction. Next is organizational technology. Now organizational technology means um the way the organization runs. Say it's not about gadgets only, it is about how the organization is going, how you are going to um, divide the work into departments, how will be the coordination between the departments. I can say when there is a project for a new product launch, there should be synchronization, teamwork between every department, right from finance, advertisement, productions, human resource, everybody, they have to go hand in hand. If there is no coordination, then the overall output of the organization will be hampered. Then organizational change and culture. Organizational change means, the change means as per the modern era, as per the day's change, many things, aspects in the organization have to change because it is in need of the hour. We can't say that we are going to stick to the old rules, old way of working. Say with the advancement of technology, every day there are new gadgets coming into place which are making our job easy. So so slow change is always nurtured. Suddenly you can't change anything. So slowly, steadily, some new things should be adopted in a proper manner so that the existing employees are not feeling the heat of it. It should go in a flow. Lastly, organizational culture. Organizational culture means the discipline, the code of conduct, the traditions which is followed in an organization. It may be about timely coming or the uniform or the formal structure, how meetings are held, who is the boss, how they have to be. So if it is a very orthodox kind of a organization, it everything need to be very disciplined, like everyone should come in the time with the neat designated dress. Some organizations are there where the discipline is not about wearing tie or coming right on time. It is all about doing work, completing work in time. So what you wear is not important. So based on different organization, their CEOs, their way, the culture of the organization will be different, and a smart employee will be one who will adapt easily in such kind of a change and such kind of a culture. Next is anthropology. So anthropology is one more discipline from which we can take tips so that you can know individuals and their behavior in organizations. So what is anthropology? Anthropology is nothing but the study of human races. Say for example, in India we have two races. One is called as the Aryans and one more is the Dravidians. So similarly all around the world we have different races. There is an African race, there is a Mongoloid race. Okay, so different people from different say locations are considered to be of a particular race. So why this study of anthropology is important? Why? Because when you are from different races, different country locations, your ideas, your values, your attitudes will be different. Okay, so when you talk about India, so North Indians and South Indians, South Indians are more, say conservative, soft, intelligent, modest. They are a bit defensive also sometimes. On the other hand, when you talk about North Indians, they are very rude, very offensive. uh, they are not into academics so much. Okay, their talking style is different. They are a bit, very reluctant, rude. So something like that. So based on that, their values and perceptions will change. Their attitude will be same. So South Indians are more of a modest, timid, soft people. Okay, so the attitude is bit very soft. So we need to know from which culture, religion or community that person is from, so that you can judge how his culture is, how his attitude is, and so how much time he or she will take to adapt. Okay, so yeah, nowadays we people are working in MNCs. Now it is not about only India, it is about all over the world. People are working together. So we need to respect each other's culture, religion, community, even the color. So any comments with regard to any of these of things can create blunders, and there can be chaos and conflict in the organization, which in turn will hamper the growth, efficiency and profit of the organization. So we'll come back to that social psychology. So social psychology is a discipline where you're taking the aspects of both sociology and psychology. So it is, somewhere in between where you when you are there in a say a public place or within people, how our psychology has to be changed. So there should be behavioral changes. I said before, the way you are at home alone in your room cannot be the same here in the social. Then the attitude should be changed so that you don't hurt people, you can get along. Otherwise no one will be ready to work with you, and you have to be a loner and loser at the end. So the communication, the group process, how group decision making. So maybe at home you may be very, self-centered, your decision as taken as final, but when you're working in a job or in a workplace, there your decision may not be final. In sometimes group decision making is needed, where you have to compromise on your decision. You can't make a frown face and sit in the corner like you do at home. Okay, so you have to get along with people and try to say yes to others also. Okay, so all these things, intergroup behavior, conflict, power, group decision making, all are very important tools of social psychology, which we are going to use in HRM, so that the work environment is peaceful, and at the end the main objective of the organization of growth and development and profit is achieved. Then the last discipline which we are going to study about is political science. So political science is all about politics, about power, about conflicts. Now you may say how politics is important in organization. See, in organization is about group of people, a boss, a super boss. Okay, so there is a big line, a hierarchy wherein there is power, there is money, there is control. So where there is power, money and control, there is politics. So you may have some people who are, you can say in simple language, like who are chaploos, okay, who are like or you can say chamchas of the boss, and who can create chaos just so that their promotion is done, and their colleague who is a hard working, efficient he is not getting the promotion. So such type of politics always goes on. There are groups within the groups. On the face they may be very sweet, but behind there may be some revenge, grudge, ego issues, which may create chaos, and the team may be shattered, and thereby your project may hamper because of this. Okay, so you should know all these things so that you can be a good you can, I'm not saying good as such, you can cooperate with other people and get things done from them, even though there is ego clash and all other things. So I hope you have understood this. If there are any doubts, please comment so that I can clear it in my next sessions. So please like, subscribe and comment to my channel so that you can get further notifications about next videos. So that's all for today. Have a good day. Bye. Thank you.